All right, we're here. We
Gilmore,
got.
you hear me?
Yo, all right, yo,
Cool.
yeah, we got special guests. Fucking. Well, we have surprise special guests, and then we had scheduled special guests. We got Brendan O'Sullivan, the Keystone Carpenter, back on the show. Real excited about that. And then we got Bruce back.
Bruce is back.
He's on vacation.
Hell yeah.
This is episode 91, I believe.
90, I think.
Brendan's subscriber 150 on the YouTube.
I'm pretty sure I subscribed earlier, though. I was just making sure I was subscribed.
Oh, okay. So
I'm pretty sure,
might
like,
still be at 149.
I'm an OG.
It's fine. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, so if you haven't already, like, follow, subscribe to the YouTube. We need those subscribers.
I'm going to make a new account and just get 150, so.
There it is.
Yeah, the ghost account is highly recommended to our listening audience, who range in size about 50 to hundo, I guess.
Yeah, sounds right.
Yeah, we're excited to talk to Brendan because Brendan is just a cool guy.
Excited to talk to you guys.
And I'm interested to hear a lot about like what business has been like for you these past 6 or so months with, you know, materials being short, the ever persistent labor shortage that
Non-existent.
yeah, it really got out of control this year. It was already real tough for us in like the contracting world finding, you know, quality help. Shout out to anybody that wants to behave in a quality fashion. But I don't know what particularly like it's been like for you. Has it been a struggle? Like, have you found like your customers or like have you had any jobs cancel? Like, what's it been like?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think we were feeling it before, but I think we're really feeling it now since, you know, past 6 months or so or more.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for me in particular, I've been trying to just kind of keep my head above water with, you know, the jobs that I have, and trying not to jump around too much. But back to what you were saying about, you know, material shortages, I'm finding myself now, you know, not even labor shortages, but material delays have caused me to go from, you know, hey, I'm sticking around in your job one at a time, you know, quality control, kind of taking that model, to, hey, you know, we're packing up shop here for a little bit. We're going to transition over to here, you know, start setting up for this job. And, you know, because things that you would normally, you know, that you should plan for, but that would normally, you can kind of plug in along the way in terms of, hey, we need this here, then.
Yeah, so you can kind of structure your ordering such that you order the items so that they're delivered when you're going to need them.
When you're going to need them, yeah, exactly.
And that's all really gone to hell for us in the past.
You guys as well, or
I mean,
industry
everybody
as a
in the
whole.
I'm saying like the industry.
Yeah, for sure. You know, so you're getting, you know, hey, I need a couple doors here and there. All right, no problem. 3 week lead time.
Do you find people are like clients, meaning like, are they tolerant of like the situation, or do you find people are not understanding?
I am finding that they're tolerant. Fortunately, I mean, you know, I'm so far. I'm glad I have, you know, really good clients that, you know, I try to like, you know, keep them updated daily on things and kind of give them an overview of, hey, this is what's going on. But I think a lot of people right now have really, you know, they've kind of understood that this is something that's actually happening. Like if they're getting into the remodeling.
Yeah, because if you don't know what's going on, you have your head in the sand.
Yeah, exactly.
So, or you're just not a nice person.
Yeah, and you're like very impatient and just short with people, and you're like, I don't care that you're waiting on something that's out of your control. I'm just gonna, you know.
I find that it's kind of like ebbs and flows with clients. Most of our clients are probably completely understanding, but I think we've experienced a couple of times where people are understanding. And then there's like a few days of, you know, a Tuesday or a Wednesday where they want answers.
Yeah.
And then, you know, they calm down and they're like, all right, cool, we're understanding again. And then they're chill for a little bit, but then they want answers again.
Yep.
And you have to be ready to like give them those answers. And then you have to, like, I have found that like I need to keep myself in check to be like, hey, like these people just want their door, or they just want, that one last piece of thing they're waiting on for their house that we finished 6 months ago, that we're still waiting on a screen door or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, they paid a lot of money. We made promises to them to uphold a certain level of quality. Like, I get it.
Yeah, and I feel like I would be in a similar situation, because I find myself now too. It's like I got to keep myself in check, because I'm asking my clients and people to be patient with me, when you can easily find yourself, getting impatient with other people and suppliers and stuff. It's like, hey, wait a second, like, you're asking a lot of these people, and it really kind of, it's like, okay, pump the brakes here. I understand that you're overwhelmed. The guy at the lumberyard is not just taking your order or your quote. He's, taking 200 other contractors and stuff. So
I was talking to a guy we know, actually Tom Peters. Shout out Holy Q Barbecue.
Yeah,
He's having problems with like soda getting delivered, or different suppliers where they would normally be like, hey, we're coming out this day. Now they're giving him, like, his food suppliers are giving him like 48-hour windows.
Yeah.
So it's like, if he runs out of something that's like key to his business, he's just shit out of luck. Because they're like, oh yeah, 48 hours. We might be here, today. We might be here tomorrow. I don't know.
And that's got to be a lot tougher with that type of business too.
And honestly, like, he was expressing his frustrations to me, and I was very sympathetic. And then later that night, I was like thinking about it again, like randomly, and I was like, damn, like, is there that much of a shortage of people that there's delays in deliveries because there's not enough drivers to drive the trucks, or maybe people loading the trucks, or like all the way down that line? And I thought about like all those jobs where there's just not enough. And then I thought about us, and I was like, we already didn't have enough before the pandemic and all of 2020, and then, the first half of 2021.
Yep.
I was like, how's this going to get any better? But I hope it does.
Yeah.
Me too.
There's hope.
There's some hope out
That's all
there.
we have, right?
Stop giving people money. Don't want to get back to work, yo.
Yeah, I keep hearing, I haven't really been able to keep up with the whole giving people money conversation, because there's so many conversations.
Mm-hmm.
But I hear that for some reason or another, that's going to expire soon.
That's what I keep hearing too.
I keep hearing, the streets are saying that, but I have no evidence.
Yeah, it's like how I get it, because I'm sure we all could, name someone that we know that is like, really riding that wave hard,
Yeah, they all like got the unemployment and decided to become like day traders of crypto coin. And you talk to them and they're like, yeah, dude, I'm up 40 grand. It's like, well, how much money do you make a year at your job? It's like 85.
Yeah.
Okay, how much money are you getting on unemployment? And you're like, oh.
Okay, that adds up now.
I understand. And then you're like, all right.
Yeah, and I was thinking about this too, and I wonder how much, of seasonal help that we're not seeing now. Like, you go down the shore, and, there's usually a lot of seasonal help that comes from overseas, right? And it's like, is there,
or even college kids.
Or even college kids, right? Yeah. Is that part of the problem too? I'm sure it plays into it for sure.
I forget what they call the generation after the millennials, or maybe it was the millennial generation is called this. I forget what the acronym was, but it was basically for like quick money, like fast money, early retirement was like what the acronym, like that's what like this generation's about.
Yeah.
It's like get that bankroll up as high as you can and then chill. And I'm like, well, what else would you like? That gives me anxiety just thinking about chilling.
I know. It's like, I feel like, though I don't mind a vacation here and there, it's like I feel like I got to keep moving,
Well, I think I firmly believe we were put on this earth to do shit. Hopefully productive and positive stuff, but like everybody's here to do stuff. That sounds like not very intelligent. At the same time, it kind of is. Like, you, especially if you just think about us as individuals, as like Americans, like you think about all the effort that went forth to kind of like make shit happen to put us to where we are, and you think about like all that like human effort, and you're like, if you don't do something, it's like all that effort before you was like, what was that for?
Yeah, could you imagine?
That's
like
so selfish. You're just like screw you, universe. I'm just gonna chill.
Yeah.
That same attitude, we would be so far behind still, you know.
Yeah,
We're just gonna chill. Like,
yeah, think about it.
we're not gonna advance our technology. Or
I mean,
society.
there's a few people in history that we wish chilled. Am I wrong? Right?
Yeah, I can think of a
Yo,
couple.
shout out Hitler.
Shout out
Chill, dude.
Yeah, just hang out.
He should have chilled. Somebody should have got that man some unemployment.
You should have just painted some more. Like,
Yeah.
stay
I
home.
mean, he was really upset about it. There wasn't any unemployment. If somebody had just given that dude, 90% of his normal income a year, he would have just bowed down.
Yeah, dude.
Simmered the fuck down.
Hitler chill.
Oh man.
So like what is on the horizon for you in terms of like types of projects like coming up? Like you got still mostly bathrooms and kitchens, or do you have anything outside? You gonna get some sunshine this summer?
Last week I was like, I'm so glad I don't work outside. You know,
Yeah,
it was like
really
these guys
hot.
building decks and doing roofs. I'm like, nice air conditioner. You know, but it would be nice to have that outdoor project. You know, sun's on my back, face, whatever. No, but primarily inside stuff. Kitchens, a lot, and that's what I'm. I feel like I'm working harder now to figure out future jobs because of logistics.
Oh, of course.
That would normally not pose really the challenges that we're seeing now.
Do you think, but like if things ever do get easier again, like in terms of like availability of stuff, imagine like if we have to do this for a year. We were already pretty good about it just because like we're small crew, lots of high quality volume. I think a lot of people this year, like yourself, like you're gonna get so much better at ordering from where you started that like if anything chills out, you're gonna be like
you're
things
gonna
are
be like on
like
top of things, and it's gonna be like, wow, this is a breeze.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, it's forcing me to take office days, which I know that should be a role of probably somebody else. But I'm finding that like I absolutely cannot afford to not do a half a day or a day in the office a week, because otherwise,
what's like an office day look like then? If somebody else could do that for you, like what does your office day entail?
So, it really, I guess it kind of depends on where the projects are landing. So I'll try to like lump things that I know are kind of not coming to a head, but I'll try to put things where I know I can accomplish, proposal revisions. There we go.
That's okay. I literally make up my own words half the
I was about to say revival because I was
yeah, that's good branding.
Yeah,
proposal revivals. I'll schedule a meeting. I had an HVAC walkthrough this morning for a kitchen we're doing to figure out logistics of how we're going to optimize a split level home, that is already terrible with, comfort and heating and cooling. So that was like a 2-hour meeting. I knew. So those type of things, not necessarily strictly office, but realizing you cannot afford to not put that time into the business, and at least stay on top of that stuff, because you're going to be caught short, especially with lead time issues and shortage of material in general right now, and price increases, which I'm noticing is huge. So.
Yeah, that definitely exists. I have found that, like the software we use and everything, like I'm pretty good at pre-planning everything so everything runs as smoothly as we can run it. We're spending a lot of time right now like passing that like way of doing things or mindset or process down the chain.
Yep.
It's taken a lot out of us in terms of like we got to do a lot of planning and like organizing, like how is this process actually work, so that people can get efficient across our entire organization. So I definitely see like what the struggles we're going through, like collectively learning how to plan. I'm like thinking about other companies. I'm like, wow, like what we were already what I would consider pretty good at this.
Yeah.
Like imagine if you were an absolute nightmare at planning or scheduling. At the end of this year, like your business is not going to be good. Your reputation is going to be like what a normal steady year would have been okay. Like you're definitely going to get raked over the coals.
Yeah, it's that's why I've been cautious in terms of like, commitment, which, you know, I'm already feeling the pressure of commitment of possibly even overcommitting. But
People
just
waiting for you.
people waiting. Yeah. And, you know, and taking on stuff that you would normally just say, no, I'm going to just, you know, do this job until I'm done and, you know, whatever. But like knowing that you could have these overlaps and things like that just with material and stuff, regardless of, you know, how well you're planning.
There's a lot of surprises still.
Yeah, that's exactly. So back to the door thing, you know, it's like, hey, 2-3 weeks, that was, you know, word from the lumberyard. And then like, by the way, you know, Reeb is completely sold out of all these slabs. Like they don't even have them.
Yeah.
So it's like, sorry, your door's not coming until August, or your doors. So it's like, all right, well, this project's on hold. Can't do trim, can't paint, can't, you know. So things that, you know, normally kind of take for granted, not even granted, but it's just
used to be, you have confidence in how, like the lead time that was dictated to you, you could have confidence in. You
Right.
can't anymore because
exactly.
getting that phone call where it's like, hey, it's not on the truck. It's like, well, what do you mean the windows aren't on the truck? Like, how big is this truck or how small? Like, the windows came from the factory. I thought, like, it's like, no, like next week. And it's like, well, I had people lined up to do that. And then their schedule gets messed up. And then that just, like, trickles down. So it's like across the board, it's like everybody, you know, subcontractors are delaying us because they're being delayed.
Yep.
It just, it's been a test year. And, like, I definitely see, like, you can observe other people. Like, I'm very close, or try to be close with as many construction people as possible, just to, like, oh, that's what we do. Why not be friends with people? And then, like, you hear the struggles that other people are going through, and it's like you hear the people that are good at planning and things having their struggles, and then you hear, like, the people that aren't good at planning having their struggles. But it still seems way worse down at the people that aren't that great. Aren't organized.
No, for sure. And, you know, it's, I even find myself, I'm like, wow, like I'm, you know, enlisting the help of my wife now, who also works, you know, 60 hours a week.
Yeah.
And, you know, she's kind of acting as my, not really my controller, but she's like, you know, she's helping on that side of things. I say controller like I'm a big company, but like really it's essentially
you gotta act big to be big.
But you know, she's helping in the sense of like understanding like, okay, money in, money out, like that type of stuff where
it's good to have another set of eyes on that stuff though.
Absolutely. And understanding, well, what you have in your bank account right now is not what you have in your bank account right now. Yeah. You know, but anyways, point being is that, the people that aren't good at that or don't, you know, try to enlist the help or hire or whatever for those things that they're probably already terrible at are going to really, you know, not do so well.
Yeah.
You know, potentially, you know, when this all shakes out, I guess. But that's I think that's a reason why I've always continued to stay small, is because of the fear of, you know, the not being able to communicate well enough, or like the overcommitment of saying, hey, listen, like here is what's going on, or just the random customer that just doesn't want to understand or doesn't understand because, you know, they're just that, you know, impatient customer, you know?
Yeah, we were going through like a little bit of a learning session the other day, and the individual that was teaching us, you know, we were talking about communication and who at our company thinks they're good at communicating, who thinks they're bad, like that all kind of thing. You know, I was like, yeah, I'm a pretty good communicator. And he was like, you're actually the worst communicator here. And here's why. And the guy, and this was like really surprising to me, the whole idea was like your team or people around you or subs, like you have to talk to everybody at like the level of a 7-year-old.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, when you're communicating direction, I mean, you don't talk to them like that when like you're having like general conversations, but when you're communicating like details or like the context of, you know, a plan or anything like operational, if you don't do it at that level and then like, you know,
ask for like repeat this back to
confirmation at that simple level, like just keep it absolutely simple. You're not insulting them. It's just like the lower you can keep it, the easier it is to like process across the board and quicker. And it's actually better for the company. And I literally was just like, that seems so weird, because I feel like I was like, I don't want to talk to people and like insult them. I'm like gonna respect you by like speaking to you like at a high level. And the guy's like, well, no, yeah, but when you're doing details or like, and I was like, all right, I guess that makes sense. I haven't had a chance to really try it out yet. So
well, I think it also
stand by.
I've heard that too, and I've experienced a little bit of that. You know, having employees here and there work for me. But like when someone repeats something back to you, it's like, okay, did you catch all of that? And then that way, if you know there is a gap or gaps there, it's like, okay, well, you know, that one part was missed, and it's like, okay, well, no, you either didn't hear that or I didn't explain it properly or whatever. So it's almost, you know, that, you're kind of the checking of, you know, whether they're retaining what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm guilty of like, we're all good.
Yeah. And then
Everybody's
people like
good.
just nodding their head.
Anybody need
no.
anything? No, we don't need anything. And then it's like the next day, it's like something wasn't. I was like, well, oh man, I didn't do the thing, the confirmation thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of
So
like you kind of
I catch it like 7 out of 10 times now, probably.
yeah. You kind of have to. You can't assume that people know what you're talking about or what you mean. It's kind of like you have to show them what you mean. That way, there's no loss or confusion. Because I used to, back when I worked at State Farm, my boss was like that. She would talk to me like, not talk to me, but when she explained things, she would explain it to me like a 7-year-old. And she'd be like, why the fuck is she talking to me like that? But after a while, I kind of understood why she did that. That way I wouldn't fuck up. And if I fucked up, it was on me, not on her. But, you know, it's kind of the best way to communicate is that way. And that's why I think I kind of picked up that from her. Because sometimes when I explain things to people, I try to do it the same way. Like, I want to make sure I'm including every detail so nothing gets lost. And if there are questions being asked, like, fine, ask a question. I'll never be upset if someone asks me a question about something I told them. But it's like I try to explain it to where there will be minimal questions asked. And that way people know what the fuck they're doing and shit gets done correctly.
I will say black belt in communication over here.
Yeah.
I try.
I watch him.
I try.
Oh my god damn, it's so smooth. I would not have done it that way.
I try.
I'm just like smashing bricks.
Yeah. Why use big word when a little word do trick? You know, you can't be doing that in business. People are gonna be like, oh shit.
I'm sure there's like, maybe not even an intimidation factor, but like just the fear or whatever of like asking questions in general, right? Is there that sense that like, okay, well, if I didn't catch all of that, like am I going to be thought of that, you know, I'm not smart or I'm not like, you know, and then
I like when people take notes when I'm talking.
That's probably
not like too much notes. Like, don't be writing everything I'm saying. Like,
verbatim.
Don't snitch.
Put my phone down.
Yeah, seriously. Let me see your eyes. No, but like, when we're having like meetings, like planning or things like that, or people are given responsibility, and I'm like looking at you, and you're like, okay, you got this, right? Did you write any of that down? How about you get a fucking piece of paper and a pen, and we'll start this conversation over? And it very rarely happens now, but in the past, I'd be like, well, how are you? We're gonna have an hour-long meeting right now, and how are you gonna remember all the stuff we talked about? Like, you're not gonna like maybe jot something down, like, I'm going to be here next Tuesday at 9 a.m. for this appointment. Like, you're responsible for this. Do you remember?
Yeah.
I'm going to remind, it's now my job to remind you the day before. Nope.
Yeah. I had
notes.
I had an employee for about 6 months. We'll just call him Bruce. Not this Bruce.
Yeah. Bruce Jr.
Bruce Jr.
Yeah, he's an
nameless.
underachiever, I guess.
No,
we'll hear about it.
But I told him, I was like, dude, you got to get a notebook, man. Like, you know, I'm teaching you really valuable information here. And even if it's doesn't seem of value, like I'm giving you instructions and you don't understand the cost at which, or the price at which this is costing us right now for me to give you these instructions and information about this. And then if, not to say that don't ask me questions, because by all means ask me questions, but if you're not, you know, if as a whole you have duties or this thing you need to do and you don't write that all down and you're forgetting multiple things that easily could be, remember by just having them jotted on a piece of paper, like simple things like a cut list or, whatever the case may be, or just little things that seem simple, but like can easily, escape your brain.
Yeah, when it's not front of mind.
Exactly.
Yeah. That same individual that was teaching us about the 7-year-old stuff also said one time to us that you need to repeat things an average of 7 times to an individual before they get it. And me and Jonathan were like, no.
I must have said it only 6.
We pushed back on it so hard. We're like, that's not true. And this guy's like, I'm a professional. We're like, all right. I guess we'll have to start saying shit 7 times. See what happens. I don't know if I do it or not yet.
Yeah, I do find myself doing that, though. Like,
I'm heavy on the documentation side. Like, I like using the software. I like shit planned out. I like stuff documented on the software so everybody can see it. I like the schedule in there. I like everybody's files in there. The customer can see it so they know what we're doing. The daily logs can be made accessible to the customers so they can stay up to date. Like, it's literally, as good as it's going to get in terms of transparency and taking, you still have to pick up the phone and make the calls.
Yeah.
And call the supplier and go on the internet and research the products and find the people. But at least, like, when you're doing a lot of stuff, you don't have to remember it all.
No.
You just, all right, dude, I had this conversation. Enter, saved. And it's like, all right, dude, what? And then a week from now, and it's like, what did I do about that last Tuesday? Where's this stand? And you call that person up, and it's like, we had a conversation last week. Set reminders. Reminders are great. I'm a big reminder guy.
Do you find yourself being more of a phone reminder person or like notebook or both?
I do like handwritten notes.
Yeah.
I handwrite most of my notes, and then what needs to go into the Builder Trend software goes in.
Like even to-do lists, will you write on paper or mostly on notes?
Because it's like quick walking around the house, like boom, 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 quick to-do list.
Yeah.
Get in my truck, pop in the laptop, out.
Yeah.
Do it on the phone. I find that when you're in meetings, especially, even with like people that work for you or subcontractors or anything, if you're doing stuff on your phone, people just get like insulted.
They feel like you're
passively
doing something else.
or openly. They're just like, is he looking at?
Yeah.
Is he not looking at some boobies right now or something? You're like, yep. You're like, just yeah, sounds good. 39 and a half. Like, you're like, we're not talking about measurements right now. So I find that, like, I feel that way, so I just do the handwritten notes.
Yeah. I do find that as well. I'll find myself speaking because, like, I was doing notes for a while, and then I find myself, I'm like, well, where's my pencil? I know it's like, where's your brain, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you always have your phone on you, but I'm realizing that when I was taking notes on paper before, like it just felt better. It felt like I could reference it much easier without going to my phone and getting distracted.
It's like real quick. And somebody texts you, and then it's like you hit, all right, I'm going to respond to this now. And then it's like, what the fuck?
And then you're like, where's my to-do list? Oh, wait, how did I get 3 apps later and I still haven't done my,
Yeah.
But I'll find myself saying like, okay, I'm typing in the measurements of this now in front of a customer because you feel like, you're insulting them. Like, what are you not paying attention to our meeting? So
yeah, just a little faster. I'm finding I'm like taking pictures with my phone a lot too, so it's like I don't have to like swip back and forth.
Yeah.
I find that it's like a backup system kind of for my brain. Write the notes out, and then when I actually document them, it's for everybody else. I already have my notebook. I say that to the guys all the time. I'm like, oh, where was that information? It's like, oh, okay. We got through the whole notebook conversation. We're now notebook experts, but like the notebook information, how does anybody else know what's in that?
Yeah.
And they're like, they don't. I'm like, boom. See what just happened there? And it's like, yeah, but it's really the habit. All the guys are really dialed in, and they're good project managers, and they're like on top of their shit, and they're ordering stuff. But it's like they need help. They need support. Like we have like all these other people, and like people's responsibilities are like becoming more and more specialized so that we can run like more efficiently. And when you're responsible for one thing, if you don't document that, and then somebody takes the ball from you, like, and they don't have enough information, you're leaving them hanging.
Yeah.
So, like, that's kind of where we're at right now. It's like getting everybody in the habit of, doing the builder trend.
Having really good notes so that people can.
It's good notes. It's like, well, what am I supposed to take notes about? It's like, I'm going to explain this to you, but I feel like we went to the same high school. We graduated together. But it's like, well, we were taking notes on things that could be important to somebody else. Dates, times, facts.
Yeah.
Situations, like whatever, like could be important. Like, don't be like, we got there at 11:02. The guy was landscaping. He had only cut half the lawn. They were also getting groceries delivered at the same time. So we, parked the truck on the right side of the driveway. It's like that has nothing. That is nothing to do with anything that has anything to do with anything. It's like, what are you wasting my time for?
Yeah.
So it's you kind of have to let people fail, and then use those failures or micro failures as like an example to be like, hey, like, you see these notes right here you took? You see these notes you took over here last Tuesday? Like, these last Tuesday notes, like, these were really good. Like, why aren't the notes from yesterday as good as these? It's like, oh, well, like, I was in a rush after work. Like, I had to get home, blah, 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 whatever the excuse may or may not have been.
Yeah.
Made most of that shit up. So you're just like, all right, cool. Like, well, we know better than to do that. Like, we're adults here. Like, we don't have anybody here that's not reasonable in that fashion where you're like, hey, like, this isn't how we're going to do it. And they're like, you're right. That's usually how things go.
I'm obviously by myself most days other than seasonal help, but thinking down the road, 3 to 5 years, right? And it's like scaling, and you should be hiring people that are better than you, but at the same time, I feel like you need to start honing in these skills, these communication skills, these note-taking, like all these things that like these characteristics that you want other people to have. Not to say that you're going to be able to do all of those things or be good at all of those things that you're going to hire people that are better than you at, but like you have to start somewhere, right? And get in a rhythm of something for your business to progress, right?
You definitely have to, I guess, like, in thinking about this real quickly, like, right off the bat, like, what, like, you kind of need to do, like, to move through those levels is, like, the first level, you're focused on, like, what are, like, the functions of my business that, like, if I don't do them, even though I kind of should, nothing's really going to go wrong. It's, like, not that big of a deal. It's, like, every receipt that you purchase things on, like, right, do you need to keep every receipt filed in that file folder labeled by the day of the week you bought it on?
Yeah.
It's like, no, you don't. You bundle all the files up or the receipts up. You pay for good software, and then you consolidate your time. Like, I've heard a lot of people like, yeah, we like do the receipts real detailed. It's like, you deal with that up at higher level when you're dealing with the bookkeeper that needs that information. Yeah. Lower level, you don't care.
And as long as you have that connected to your software or your bank account, it's like, and you ever get audited,
yeah,
it's like,
good.
We have a electronic paper trail of this. What are we?
Yeah, you got QuickBooks. You can assign stuff very easily. And then it's like, then at that same level, don't assign stuff to like needless accounts. It's like, have everything just very general and quick and accessible so that like you can like digest it to the level it needs to be digested at. I can't tell you like how many times I've like helped people out. It's probably like 6 times at like $100,000 revenue a year, like smaller, real small, like just getting started out. It's like, why are you tracking this one thing?
Yeah.
This one, like, is it affecting your business right now? Pencils? Are you having a pencil expense account? Like, are you guys buying that many fucking pencils at $100,000 a year? Jesus Christ. Like, why are you even like worried about this? And then I think at the next level, level number 2, I think you're worried about like things like getting an outside bookkeeper, if that makes sense for your business. Like doing, you kind of want to make I'm a chart guy. You make like an organizational chart of like how you want your business, like how your business is and how your business like should be running.
Yeah.
Like you have like you as the owner, and then we have like lead carpenter, which also happens to be you at the same time. So like you're going to be in all these positions, but then you can kind of see like, all right, if I can give up bookkeeping, I free up 10 to 15% more of my time.
It's amazing how many people don't have bookkeepers.
People are very turned off by that. They don't want to let people know their books, or they think they're doing a good job of it, or like whatever the process is. Find yourself a good bookkeeper. There's tons of them. And there are tons that are like specialized in the construction world that they'll come in and they'll be like, and it'll probably be like a stay-at-home mom that used to be like at a high-level accounting firm. And she'll be like, sweetie, you are fucking this up.
Stop going to Dunkin' Donuts.
Stop doing this. And then you have somebody watching you, which is good. Like, people are not into that. And then you have like the bookkeeper, so you frees up more of your time to sell. And like and people are like threatened by that. They're like, oh, well, that's going to cost money to like have that person. Like, where's that money going to come from? You goddamn go out there and you sell. If you choose to chill, you're going to fail. But you sell. And then if you sell, then you hire that next person in your beverage napkin organizational chart you made, and you're like, all right, I can fill this void, so I free up another 10% of my time.
Yeah.
And then 5 years later, you freed up 50% of your time, 10% a year. And then, then you're at, 50% of your time freed up. You can make decisions where you're freeing up like 25% of your time.
When I got a bookkeeper, it was like, why was I ever doing this myself? This is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's definitely something that if I could argue like any level of business, if you can just figure it out, be open to negotiate with those people. Somebody might want to help you out. Maybe like, all right, look, you're just getting started. Like, I'll help you out. You're not really going to take me that much time. Like, you're not even really doing that much sales or stuff like that. This is 20 minutes of my time each week. I'm a pro at accounting. I'll hook you up.
Yeah.
Because then they'll know, like, once you do hit enough to pay them, they'll be like, oh, now it's going to be like $50 a week. And you're like, wait, all this effort that I hate doing, that I put a lot of if there's contractors listening to this, a lot of you guys put off doing your books because you hate it, you don't have the time for it, or like you don't understand it, so it's like uncomfortable for you. Just give it to somebody else.
I found somebody that supposedly specializes in construction. That was kind of why they referred to me, but I think she charged me like $45 an hour, and like, I think my yearly bookkeeping bill was like maybe like $700-800 at most.
Yeah.
And it was like, but like, doing monthly and quarterly, reconciliations, like all this stuff is taken care of.
Your books line up.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay, cool.
They're like, oh, wait, I just send this to the accountant now. And not to say that you shouldn't ever put your eyes on your own books to make sure things aren't like,
for sure.
That
person is putting the reports together and stuff for you.
Yeah.
You have to look at that stuff.
For sure.
That stuff's informing you on how to make decisions.
And I'd look at that and some stuff, I'm like, all right, do I need to question this? And then I kind of go back and look through some stuff. But like, I'm not dealing with the day-to-day, 200 transactions that come in, at the end of the month or whatever, and doing all those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a bore.
So if you're a contractor and you don't have a bookkeeper, get a bookkeeper.
Yeah, get serious. Get serious about it.
Or if you have any business for that matter, get a bookkeeper.
Yeah. Honestly, facts.
Yeah.
But anyway, do you watch UFC at all? Do you watch any of these fights or anything like that?
I do occasionally. We close group of my friends, we usually go over to their place and watch it. But one of their buddies that went to Williamson trade school with them, he's a fighter as well. So we always like when he fights, we're always, we always like to get together and watch. And he just fought out in Vegas not too long ago.
Yeah, for sure. Dude, I gotta pee.
So.
Oh shit.
We're gonna take a break.
All right, let's do it.
Well, I figure somebody else might have to pee too. If I have to pee.
I'll take a pee.
Yeah, stay, dude.
All right, fine.
Dude, what if Whoa, shit.
Oh, shit.
Oh, damn, dude.
Do you know Bill Algeo, that name?
Bill Algeo?
Yeah, he's an up and comer.
Yeah.
He got a 3-fight contract.
With the UFC?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So that's our buddy
wait.
that went to UFC, Williamson.
How much does he weigh, you think?
I think he's 135 or 145.
Oh, he's a little guy.
Yeah.
Senor Perfecto.
Yeah. So he won his first fight, lost the second, and then he has a third fight in his contract, I think.
Let's look at this guy. Let's see where he's from.
He's from I think he's from Delco somewhere.
Let's see what gyms he reps.
I think he has his own. King of Russia. Yeah.
Let's click on it. Let's see him. MMA and kickboxing? What does that mean?
I don't know.
These MMA gyms are tricky.
Are
Not
they?
necessarily his. I don't know anything about this one, but it's like it's some of them are better than others. Some of them are confusing. You go to them and you experience them, and they're like, "Wait, you guys are teaching jiu-jitsu and there's no jiu-jitsu person here?" It's like, okay, so we're just gonna call it MMA then, and just make it up.
Yeah.
Like you have it every now and then, and some people get away with it not so well, and some people get it. Like I've seen some stuff in gyms where it's like, I don't know.
The UFC gyms, though,
They're different.
Are those guys licensing the name, or are they the guys that are
Yes.
there getting money from UFC to rep their gym?
The UFC never really.
I was going to say the
gives
UFC
money
is
to
not giving any money away.
Yeah.
You pay Dana White.
Yeah.
The UFC gyms are a franchise. It's
Okay.
like the F45 kind of deal.
Okay.
Not like the same kind of place, but like it's just like a club franchise kind of thing.
And then basically, if you're a fighter, you're going to throw your name on it.
Yeah, I mean it'd be smart for you.
Yeah.
So like I trained at Ricardo Almeida, and he was a UFC fighter, but it's just Ricardo Almeida BJJ.
Okay.
There are pro fighters that train there, and there is some like striking and stuff like that. Instructionally for like non-pros, there's a little bit of that offered. It's more geared towards like jiu-jitsu for fighting. It's not we're going to teach kickboxing tonight. It's more of like, oh, well, this is what like a strike would be kicking, and then like this is how you would respond to it with jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
But like for the pros, they definitely get into like a little bit of the sparring, I guess, in the sense, and then take it to like, all right, we're standing up, like you throw these moves, now we're rolling.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not an MMA gym.
So guys aren't necessarily looking to go to UFC through the gym that you're at.
No, it's a component. They're there to like specifically train that aspect of their game.
Got it.
Like you're going to go see your boxing coach for boxing. He doesn't know jiu-jitsu. So
Yeah.
you kind of have to like, some fighters put it together themselves. Some fighters have like a good manager who also happens to be a jiu-jitsu coach, like that, they bring the boxing guy in, so they have someone to help them integrate it. It's a lot of like where you started. Like some people started in boxing and then, got into high school wrestling, and then so you can kind of see the style.
Yeah.
But as the sport, like the UFC style sport, the MMA,
This is where
evolved,
you go here, Ricardo. I got you.
as it evolves, like we're gonna see more of the MMA gyms, because like you're getting these well-rounded people.
Because they're incorporating all
Yeah.
different styles.
Yeah, it's the same thing as kind of like our, like, because there was a war or two wars, like the Iraq and Afghanistan, like
Yeah.
there was a lot of advancement in like the medical community, in the tactical law enforcement community, how people probably enter structures changed because of the experience of like, oh, okay, if you do it this way, you might get shot in the face. It's like, we're going to change that, and then we're going to give that information to other people when we come back from war and go back home and become cops. So it's like the same evolution is happening in mixed martial arts, where it's like at one time, if you were a jiu-jitsu black belt and you didn't really have a striking game, you could do some dirt and fuck somebody up that wasn't necessarily ready for it, and then you'd have that advantage. But now it's like you have someone like Connor, who's like a karate type dude that then learns jiu-jitsu,
Can grapple
and can grapple, and then becomes really good at boxing. And this, like, we're done betting on Connor, but
Yeah, that's over.
that aside, like,
your chain
you have, or like, you have these people that are well-rounded athletes. Like you have like Justin Gaethje was, I forget what he did in wrestling, but he was a huge deal in college wrestling. And he's a brawler in the UFC. Like he very much wants to be known as like a dude that fist fights. But he, like, if somebody were to try and like wrestle him, they'd probably, be like, oh shit, this guy knows how to wrestle.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of that. Who knows? I think the shin breaking thing is something that needs to be discussed. Like, I think these athletes like think they can just get in there like Muay Thai fighters and start throwing shin kicks. But what people don't realize about Muay Thai is that like those dudes are like, they kick like banana trees and stuff for fun. Like, they make their shins hard over years. I watched this documentary one time that went over kind of like a Muay Thai fighter's like evolution from like, you know, adolescence up, either from Thailand or an American one. Yeah. And their bone density is actually like a bat. Like, they're just from the calcification of kicking stuff, their shin hardens over the years. So when you see people like, the thing with Connor was, I think it's, you know, three things. He allegedly had an injury in training, so he was probably practicing kicking and, you know, overburdened his shin. Yep. And then he might have had a stress fracture and then kicked in the fight because he thought that's like what cool kids do now. Broke it, and then that was that. Yeah, but I also think you know, there's a little bit of dehydration that plays into these things because you go through that weight cut. Yep. And then like your body can't heal during that cut. So like you go into a fight not really in that great a shape. Which is hilarious.
I never understood that, to be honest. Like, I get the weight cut, but I'm like, why? Like, if everyone's cutting, it's just to get that next level, it's just like, why don't you just stay at your weight and everyone just do your thing? Because everyone is dropping.
I hope it gets to that level because there's hydration tests now. Okay. So like, if you're too dehydrated, we could be like, you cut too hard.
Yeah, you're disqualified.
You're disqualified.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll do that or not. But some organizations have the hydration tests. ONE FC has hydration tests, I think, which is like
because most people are what cut. I mean, I don't know, but what are most people cutting, like 10 pounds?
No. Dustin Poirier was walking around like this was a 155, and Dustin was walking around at like the day of the fight. I think he was walking around at 182. Something like that. That's crazy. The day after the fight, he was 190.
That's insane. Like,
that's a managed weight cut. That's like you have somebody that's responsible for like the food going into you, and you have somebody responsible for monitoring your water intake. You have somebody, you know, telling you when to eat, what to eat. You don't even think at that level. You don't think of anything, but you know, say like I go into an amateur jiu-jitsu competition and I want to cut weight, like I got to do that all myself. Yeah. And then you have some like sketchy shit, people doing dumb shit.
I just couldn't imagine that much water weight loss like in that shorter period of time.
You hurt.
I'm sure cramping is like
it's very painful. Crazy. That's what I didn't. I had a few friends in high school that would cut weight for wrestling aggressively, and you would sit there and like you'd watch them at like lunchtime, like sitting with their hood up, like with their face down on the table, just being like, I can't wait to choke this dude later. And it's like, there's no submissions in high school. They're like, there is tonight. And then I'm going to Chick-fil-A.
Did you wrestle all throughout high school?
No. Senior year, I played a lot of soccer.
Okay.
Soccer was like that. A lot of like karate, boxing type stuff was mostly my jam.
Gotcha.
I got more interested in wrestling. Like when you're a kid, you're just like, I don't know. You just like the wind's blowing you every which way, and you just like had like definitely wish I'd focused more on that back then. Certainly, but I definitely just like loved the shit out of some soccer, and I loved a good fist fight. So like wrestling to me back then, even though I really respected it, and most of my friends that wrestled could kick my ass, or like were good wrestlers rather, could kick my ass, but like I just didn't. I was like, this is a waste of time. Like we're just gonna scrap. Like I don't need to like perfect this.
I don't even get the wrestling.
I'm gonna
because like go in the parking lot.
Yeah, because like we're good. Like all right, we're learning wrestling here, but it's like this is good and all, but in a real fight, I'm gonna punch you in the face. So let's do that.
Yeah, there's no punching.
Yeah, so I got some wrestling, but I wasn't great in any sense.
Yeah, I played rugby in high school. Never got on the wrestling team though.
I could see that being a rugby guy.
Yeah.
I played freshman through senior year. We were a club. We were not actually a varsity sport at the time, but we were a lot of club teams back then.
That's like we had Doylestown Dragons. rugby, and I always wanted to play. I never did. I went to like one practice, and then I was just like, I don't have time. What am I going to do for this?
That looks
was,
badass.
But it just looked like it was the camaraderie that I was about. Like the dudes, like I had friends that played rugby, and they were just like, they would just get together, and it just looked like a good time. So I'm like, I want to do that. I want to have a good time.
It was. I mean, I loved it. It was a great sport. I grew up in Connecticut, so like there were a lot of like prep schools we played because that was very common, you know. But definitely, I mean, I've been out of high school for 15 years now or whatever.
Yeah, you're living in the past there, Brandon.
So I know,
Yeah, I was when I was a rugby club champion.
That was real good.
They didn't give out participation trophies that year.
But yeah, it was a great sport. I mean, we were one of very few club teams, even among like we were like probably one of two public school teams that actually had a club in the area. They were all prep schools and boarding schools. But yeah, it was a great sport.
Bunch of weirdos growing up around you, boarding school kids.
Well, that was only like one school out of the area, but there were a few prep schools and then a couple public schools. But that was it.
Have you ever met kids that go away to boarding school?
Nah.
There's a school in Newtown, George School, and like when we were in high school and junior high, you could go into Newtown, and like the George School kids would like be walking into Newtown like they were in like the Harry Potter movie. Dude, those kids like. So yeah, we made friends with them one time. We got invited back. We infiltrated. They had like their own little bridge going across the highway. Weird. And then like so, you know, some kid whipped out a guitar, and I was like, "This place isn't for me.
What the fuck?
I'm out of here." Kumbaya, exit.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? They literally just whipped out an acoustic guitar in the middle of like the I was like, did you have that hidden behind that rock over there? I was
I
like,
never understood boarding schools. I'm like, what do you? Your parents can't handle you? You that bad?
No, it's like I'm gonna make sure you're focusing on school.
I'm like, I would
gonna
not
study
focus
extra
on
hard.
school if I was away from my parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what college is for?
Yeah, I
know?
think that's
Yeah,
what
right.
it is. It's like pre-college. It's teaching you that you don't have the, like you can't be coddled by your parents.
Yeah.
There's plenty of kids I know that could have benefited from some boarding school. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
when you can't call mom to get you out of it every day, it's
Yeah. I could
hardens
see
you up
that.
a little bit.
Just, I'm pretty sure they're. Oh.
We got good solving problems because we were creating them so fast as kids that like you just had to solve them faster. You know, I mean, so much stuff happened today, Mom. Like, what do we tell you about? That kind of stuff, you know. But are you finding that like with like your social media is still pretty heavy in terms of like your Instagram and everything?
Yeah.
Are you still like what are you up to, like 25 and change?
25, 4. Look at that.
Dang.
Following 2001 people. Yeah,
Do you think that like that's still like a resource, or do you think it's become like really saturated?
it's become saturated for sure. I would say like, you know, construction, Instagram, you know, was big like 4 years ago, and not to say
Now
it's
you
still
got
not
people
big.
with like 5 or 6 like Instagram pages for like one company.
Yeah, right. It's like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, dude, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, that's
Yo,
some
what are you
weirdos.
doing,
After
dude?
5,
Bunch of dude
Boarding
bunch of-
school kids.
Yeah.
No, but it definitely plays a big role, especially now that I'm focusing on not focusing, but trying to start an additional company or branch of within that. I'm like able to kind of cross promote in the sense of
yeah, you're kind of like creating I see where you would like you're creating like another brand or anything like that, but like your brand already is so strong. I would kind of just say like you're creating like another revenue stream within your brand, you know? Because you're leveraging, like you're getting the same quality. It's not a different solution.
Yeah.
It's a different like the service has a different name,
Yeah.
but it's still the same company. And as long as people know that, like I'm sure, like I was learning, you were telling me a little bit about that before, and it sounds viable. Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, I think of it like Keystone, a family of brands, you know? It's that's kind of, but it's social media is definitely still a big presence, but I think for this newer company it's a little bit tougher sell cross promoting because, you know, I like to kind of, use the comparison of like, Keystone is the filet mignon, and then this is like the chicken nugget,
Mm-hmm.
and it's when.
Do you feel uncomfortable talking about that?
What's that?
With people being like, you're getting the chicken nuggets?
You mean when I'm speaking with them about the?
Because they have to know that you exist at like this, premium level. Like, do you feel uncomfortable dealing with them, like knowing that they're not getting that?
Well, I don't bring the filet mignon and chicken nugget, comparison to the table when I'm talking.
Yeah,
to
no,
them.
I mean it works. Yeah, but I was saying more like internally. I know you're not like saying that to them.
Yeah,
but then do you like? Because I would think that pressure kind of would work in your advantage in the sense that it would like give you, like, even though you're giving them chicken nuggets, they're fucking high quality chicken nuggets. Like, who doesn't like chicken nuggets?
Exactly.
I love filet mignon, but I also love me some nuggets.
Love nuggets.
So
today.
But they're high quality.
Yeah, no, I do get that. I've gotten a few people who've reached out through that page, and I feel like they've seen something for so long, they've gotten a taste in their mouth of like, we want this, so you're going to offer this. So I think it's helpful to get the brand recognition out there, or at least the concept or the idea.
They're surprised by like the application.
The application being like, why are you doing that? So I think doing like an ad campaign is where I'm gonna see traffic and driving leads and things like that, because you're trying to convert someone who has been a loyal follower of your work of a certain level and kind for so long. Then they're going to be like, wait, now I have to get this at that price because you mean that is too expensive? And it's like, well, if you want to have that conversation, we can talk about,
maybe
that
change
price point.
Maybe change who your clients are in that sense. Like maybe trying to get the people that don't have, like, some of it might not be that your customers can't afford your higher end product. Like maybe targeting customers that don't want your higher end product.
Yeah.
Is like the play there. Because where I live, where I currently live, it's just not worth like I've put some energy into it, but it's not worth like going max out.
Yeah.
Like, one, I'm not going to live there that much longer, and two, it's like not in a place in like the neighborhood I'm in. It's like it just doesn't drive that demand. Like if I max it out, like I would never get that,
the return,
that energy back.
Yeah. And
so maybe appealing to people that like have like rentals, or maybe like second home people. I don't know. Like people that like see the value and understand the value. They just don't need it for this time.
Yeah. And I think there's plenty of, I do have a demographic or a target that would be ideal for this product. So it makes sense for a lot of people. It's just getting it out there, because what people are used to in the typical mainstream like quick turnaround bathroom, renovations, has a bad kind of stigma to it, or connotation, I guess, in the sense of like, I'm just going to get some plain old white looking, plastic looking thing. Whereas
I think the connotation there, at least on my end, is, one, some of those solutions just cover up problems.
Right.
It's like a quick fix.
Yeah.
And then two, I think maybe like the perceived negative connotation there would be, it's a quick fix. So like, how could this person care about me?
Yeah.
It's like they're just turning and burning. How could they care? But like, if anybody knows you, it's like, well, this makes sense.
And also too, like educating them on the fact that, listen, we can give you a great product by being able to have a product that allows us to move quicker and focus on other aspects that other people, may not focus on if you go, say, a traditional tile route or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, I just know from watching you on Instagram and like seeing how much goes into your projects, like I don't think you're capable of like delivering an inferior product that, chicken nugget level or the steak level. So I think maybe just like selling yourself more.
And that's what I got a lot of pushback on initially when I was like, hey guys, check out my new page. They're like, you're doing that? And I'm like, listen, there's a market for people that, one, may have the money but don't want to spend it, or two, don't have 30, 40, 50 grand to drop on a bathroom.
And those are ego people. Like, we all have egos, obviously, but like, for instance, like, we had an individual reach out when we were making epoxy stuff. Being a hater. He was just a naturalist. Like, he just liked, natural furniture and no epoxy in the wood, and that's bad. I'm like, it's kick rocks, buddy. There's a market for that.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit? Like, somebody wants it, we're giving it to them.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think people, especially in construction, get caught up and they're like, we only do this level of service or like these types of projects. And if like something comes along that makes sense but isn't like glamorous, they're just like, eh.
And a lot of people tell me that they do that type of work. So the new company's Keystone Bass Solutions, and I haven't done many of them, but you can see the difference between, the product that I'm using and some of these other products. But a lot of people are like, listen, I do that type of work, but I don't put it on Instagram because it's not glamorous. And, I think that can change, and people, can really start to, even if, because think about people who, are trying to build a portfolio and things like that, or maybe they just don't want to get into the high end renovations, but they still want to do a good job. And like, so, I think for a long time, it's just kind of been like, oh, that's like the crap work. And it's like, no, like, be proud of a $10,000 or $15,000 bathroom. Like if you can, so, but I'm using, a product that is going to allow me to kind of beat out the competition in the sense of, one, design and aesthetics, but, turnaround time too, as well. Definitely. So, so social media, I guess, to get, back to your question, it's definitely been huge, but, I have gotten, a fair amount of pushback, on, it hasn't really helped in the sense of the new business, but obviously, repeat business for Keystone Home Remodeling, it's obviously a huge driver for sure.
That's interesting. So, but ultimately, like, your Instagram, what the conversation we've had, like, especially between Jonathan and I, is that the social media doesn't necessarily sell work, but it is an excellent backstop
for sure
for selling work.
Yes.
So it's ultimately like up to you as like a person or personality. Like if Gilmar wants to sell, like photography work through After Five, like he has to get out there and meet people and let people know that, like, hey, I do that.
Yeah.
And like if you don't do that, ultimately, like I think there's some people that think that you can just like make an Instagram and that's business.
Yeah, like people are just going to come to you and buy stuff because
it doesn't.
You're on Instagram.
You have to like, you've really, and we've ebbed and flowed with leads at times where we were not participating out in the real world more than we should have been. So like the more we're out, like, having lunches with people or meeting people or going to different things or like messaging people on Instagram and then meeting them in real life.
Yeah.
Like
you can't hide behind
you ultimately, like, you build these connections. People actually know you. They know what you do. You maintain contact with them, you build the relationship, and like that, that relationship gets maintained through the social media and different avenues. But like, unless you get in front of someone or like, you go and start a podcast and then get in front of 88 someone's, like, you don't have an authentic way to sell through social media, and I don't think it works long term. I think it's great, and I think it works for some businesses. Like, I'm sure there are businesses that you and I, like, just don't have a grasp on, that they're like, yeah, we're 100% social media. Like,
oh,
we
for
crush. Sure. And I'm just like, I wish I could figure that out.
Yeah.
But
there's, I feel like I only know probably a fraction of what is even out there, in terms of, what people capitalize on using social media.
Damn it.
Yeah.
No, that's,
I found myself the other day. I went on an appointment for Keystone Bass Solutions, and like the guy was like in his 70s, like doesn't use social media at all. And like I found myself like, wow, I like really got to sell this. Like he doesn't know me, he doesn't know.
Yeah,
he doesn't know
it was back
anything.
like you had just started out again.
Yeah, you're like sitting down at the table, like kind of going through stuff and being like, wow, I got to actually use like my personal and like sales skills here, not like, hey, go just check out my social media page. Yeah, we do awesome work. Like just sign over the check.
Yeah, it's it definitely. I find that if you're doing it like the in-person route, your leads and referrals are very more specific to what your company currently needs or demands.
Yeah.
The social media, the attention's great. It's very, usually very positive and like helps the business or whatever, but the individuals that tend to reach out like blindly through social media, like they don't usually work out because they don't like, we may think that our message is very clear, but it's so interesting when you meet with these people and you're just like, wow, our message is...
Wait, you don't understand our process?
You don't understand that we're the best?
Yeah, it's
you don't know about me?
it really is just.
But I have a podcast.
Yeah, no,
come on,
it's
stop. You've never heard about me. Just like hit him in the elbow, and be like, come on.
Yeah, stop playing.
Stop joking around. All right. But seriously, like, you want an autograph? Yeah, like it just doesn't go down like that.
No, yeah.
I've learned though, like once we had that like complete like realization between everybody, we're like, all right, this is how we're gonna, eventually run the social media. It's like a backstop. We're gonna make everything like very clickable. Like you're gonna be able to get to our website very quick. The sales funnel kind of in a way. It's like if people don't need to, if it's not important, why is it on there? Or why is it on the website? Or what is it like? Is anybody even looking at those pages? Like you go and look at that on the analytics and stuff. It's like this stuff doesn't need to be on the website. Like this is what people are looking at. Give them more of this. Make it more clear.
You find a lot of your leads are coming as referrals.
We did a serious audit of referrals over. I forget what the period of time was. We went back and we dug stuff up that wasn't like recorded and logged, and like we made sure to get as many of the leads that came through that didn't come to fruition that weren't logged, like to get as accurate. And I think it was like 95% of them were referrals.
Okay, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so like when you look at that, and then you're like, you put a dollar value to it, you're like, holy shit, like I should spend 0 time on social media. And that's ultimately the conversation went. And I was on team social media, obviously.
Yeah.
And Jonathan was on team like, no, referrals.
Because I've heard it both ways. Or like even if you get referrals, like don't dry up your marketing or like.
Oh no, you have to maintain it. That's why I'm saying like it's a backstop. It's like you have to get out there in front of people. But then when they go to vet you, it's like, damn, we look good.
Yeah, oh for sure.
But otherwise, like people are not cruising around being like, oh, he looks good. This company looks good. I'm gonna hire them. Yeah. It just doesn't really happen that way. Yeah. I think it does through House. We've got a House.com. I think we got a pretty good lead through there one time. Like a real good one.
I haven't put any effort into that one.
So,
but I've heard it can be really good.
So like if you think about our style of business, like a lot of referrals come from, realtors, architects, at least for us, and designers.
Okay.
Right? Even though we like specifically work with like individuals.
Yeah.
We have found that, because we've been consistent for a long enough time, like there are other people like designers and architects and things that also have been consistent for a long enough time, and they're worried about risking their reputation on subcontractors and contractors. So like when we come along and it's like, okay, you guys have a good reputation, you're working with these other architects, or people, like this other person connected me with you that's also an architect, like you build momentum. And then like people, you have to like, you're worried about working with subs. Like you're like, is this dude gonna make me look like an asshole?
Yeah.
Now like imagine if someone's like a designer and architect and like you can play to that. Like that's huge for us. So we're definitely focusing more on like making friends with designers, like real friends. Like we don't want every designer. We want like ones that like, we believe in chemistry. If we don't like you, we're not going to want to do business with you.
No, for sure.
And likewise, if you don't like us, like,
yeah,
it's going to be a bumpy road.
For sure. Even if like you're the best company out there, it's like if you don't,
Exactly. There's some, is what it is.
Yeah.
I used to take it real personal though, where it's like, oh, you're not for us, and it's like, then it shifted where it's like, you're not for us.
Yeah. When did that shift?
I don't know if
or I guess when was like, what was the realization there? It was just kind
of. It
was
was just like I kind of just do more like thinking about like how I was spending my time, I guess, at that time.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm chasing all of these things, and all this energy and all these conflicts come from this, but all like the good sustainable income and good reputation and advancement comes from this stuff.
Yep.
Like I'm just gonna get rid of all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And then I can't really I don't really remember exactly when that was, but it was probably from desperation. It was probably just from frustration, where it's like I just got to make a change and then just stick with that change, and be confident that it's going to yield good things, because the way that things are currently going are not. Right?
Yep.
And that's usually how things go here.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, this is not working. We got to change real quick. We got to do something.
Yeah.
Which is like, I think people see that happening sometimes, and they're like, what the hell is going on over there? There's like so much random shit going on. It's because like we're constantly being like, we hit like a problem, and we're like, we're going to completely change everything.
Just shift gears real fast.
We're going to shift all the gears.
Yep.
And people are like, that's not good. I'm like, well,
yeah, you got to
keep commenting from the sidelines. We're shifting gears.
Yeah.
We're over here race
might
cars.
be grinding a few as we're going.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes race cars get crashed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you got to race.
You do. You
So,
do.
I don't know, man. I'm pumped for your Keystone Bath Solutions, though.
Thanks, man. I
There's-
think
There's opportunity there.
I think there is. I know that this market's like, everyone's got a ton of money right now, and it just seems like everyone's spending. But I feel like it's a steady eddy.
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't know. We'll see. But if it crashes and burns, it's like, hey,
What else?
how would I know if I didn't?
You
try?
tried, though.
Would
Do you find yourself like, consciously like being like, hey, I'm gonna market, what I'm doing currently, like the bathrooms, kitchens. Like, do you split up how you market these and things, or is it kind of just like right now you're kind of dialing in your?
I'm
system?
trying to. I'm pretty much stopping like what I'm taking right now for that. I'm not doing any like marketing campaigns, or I guess I am marketing as I continue to post photos, because it just organically just happens to market itself how algorithms work. So I would really like to focus on this though, because I feel like it can be a good revenue stream, but I'm finding myself being stretched with Keystone, the original, that it's hard to find time to invest in this and the people to do it. But, the idea was that I don't necessarily need as many or as skilled type of people to do this type of install, to try to really try to figure out a solution to this labor problem that we're having, and material problem and things like that. But also just, make decent money too,
Yes. Everybody's got to make a living.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. It'll be, it'll be a learning experience for sure, but I'm also like taking my time with it as well, to make sure that I don't like just go too hard and like it just, I neglect everything else, and then things just start to fall apart at the seams.
For sure.
So, but
Dude, that's awesome. Well, I think we can end it there. I feel like we talked a lot about really good stuff today.
Yeah.
You should definitely subscribe.
I think you should too. Definitely subscribe.
Yeah. And make your second ghost account and subscribe a second time.
And then you get 300 followers.
Yeah, I mean, if everybody wouldn't, if you wouldn't be so selfish and just go ahead and do that, we would be at 300 followers.
Yeah, it takes 2 minutes.
But, we realize that garnering people's attention has been difficult, so we're going to start pulling out all the stops.
I will tell you, though, that as a YouTuber consumer, as many times as people say, hit that subscribe button, it's very hard for me to hit that subscribe button. You know? So
You're
I wonder
like,
what the
I don't know.
psychology is behind that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm gonna give it to this one.
Yeah, that's a commitment, man.
I'm like the complete opposite. I'm a subscribe whore. If you look
Are
at my
you?
Instagram
Yeah.
thing, I gotta go back to. I'm like, I don't even know I'm following this dude. It's like I click. I like make it. I just like bit my microphone. I like clicked on a random subscription. I do it probably once a week. I'm just like, what the hell is this one? I clicked on this one that was like Khalil Muscle, and I was like, what the hell is this? And it's just like this dude is just jacked and he just works out, and I'm like, what was I thinking when I clicked on this? What mindset was I in when I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna subscribe to Khalil. Yeah, I'm into bodybuilding.
Yeah, probably took a ton of pre-workout.
Dude, the guy's bicep is like my whole like abdomen.
Your ads are all bodybuilding now on your phone, I'm sure.
I was too worried about unsubscribing and like potentially ever running into him and him knowing about it. So I remained in subscription.
Damn, shout out Khalil
I did
Muscle.
not bounce on Khalil.
Nah.
Definitely not. So
I was gonna say, do you think more people like it's hard to get people to, what do you think it is that people like, do you think more people are like you that are subscribers or not subscribers? They're just consumers without giving.
I guess.
I don't know.
There's
I would say there's probably more people like you because a lot of people consume our content, and we can see like the IP addresses and stuff like that.
Okay.
And a lot of people consistently consume our content that don't fucking subscribe. You're like,
Dude, why are you not subscribing?
you guys are going to our pages and watching and listening every episode, but you can't hit the red button. It's red for a reason.
Yeah.
Run into that shit like a bull. Click it.
Like a bull.
Yeah, so we're just going to start,
I'm going to make more of an effort to be a subscriber now.
You subscribe hard.
Yeah,
we're going to start
consume a lot of content. It's like I don't give credit where credit's due, I guess.
We've listened to the non-subscribers, and we've heard you, and we're just going to start giving away free shit until we're at the top.
Dude, honestly, it's
right?
I
was so frustrated. I was like, why isn't this growing at the way I want to? You know what? We're going to play dirty.
Yeah.
I was like, we're going to pay our way to the top. I don't care what anybody says about it.
You guys got to do a giveaway a day,
It's probably going to be like one a month, and we're going to give away big shit.
There you go.
So people are like, yeah, I want that. And then they're not going to get it.
And your
only
5,000 viewers is going to turn into 5,000 subscribers.
Yeah, dude, that's what we're doing.
I mean, it's a form of marketing, We're still creating content.
Yeah, it's guerrilla marketing.
Yeah,
and then you know what? If you're interested in, guerrilla marketing for your company, reach out to Gilmar or Ariel because I have nothing to do with that. That's their world. They'll do it for you, though. They'll do all kinds of weird shit for you to get you on the map.
Yeah.
And then you'll be selling stuff on the internet.
Whatever you need, bro.
Unlike us.
From YouTube to OnlyFans, I got y'all.
Yeah, the OnlyFans is popping. Jeez. Wish we could have an OnlyFans model on the podcast.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Dude, you
just blur their face out. We could have them on.
You don't have an OnlyFans account?
I don't?
No, I'm saying you don't.
I'm not subscribing, or am I posting?
No. You don't have your own personal like OnlyFans account where it's like you and like a little speedo or like short shorts, flexing.
Put me on the spot here.
I mean, you should, bro.
Are we cutting this out of the podcast?
Nah,
dude. Man. When I make decisions, I stick by them. You can find my thighs out there.
Hell yeah.
Dude, hashtag lightning thighs.
Yeah, lightning thighs, bro. You got a set of cheeks on you.
Make it thunder in here.
It's like those revival customers, and the Audex, right?
Yeah, Audex Revival. We keep it alphabetically because it sounds better that way. I don't know why.
You get the people that are like they creep on over to the After Five page and then they go deep into the dark interwebs to find your OnlyFans one. And it's like they're subscribing with an alias.
Let's see, dude. I always wear a Zorro bandana. You pretty much couldn't figure it out unless you like knew all my tattoos or something like that. It's only a matter of time before somebody's like, "Hey, is this you?"
Yo,
no.
If someone finds Andrew's OnlyFans account,
that's not me.
I'll give him $10.
Yeah, dude. If you
That's
find my OnlyFans account, just call me. I'll give you a free subscription.
Yeah, send it to us.
Have you guys found people putting like their Venmo handles just on their thing? Like people just randomly send them money.
Yeah, people.
Like
do
I've never
that.
done that. Do people actually do that?
People
Girls?
do that.
Yeah.
No. I meant like anyone in general that just produces content. Do people actually like send them money?
Do we have a Venmo account there? Was
I don't think we have one. We should have one.
Yeah, you should.
Just be like, yo, we really could use $20
for. Don't worry about it.
dude, it's for this thing I was thinking about.
Now people will be like, so what are you trying to get from me?
No. Unfortunately, nobody's just giving us money.
Yeah,
Well, if we do a paywall, we have Bruce on.
Yeah,
You got to pay $300 to see Bruce's face.
like a cameo.
yeah, dude, just
Something.
fucking 300 times how many. Nobody's gonna pay to see Bruce's face. Nobody knows who Bruce is.
Fuck it, we build enough hype.
Secret, dude. What if the hype gets so big, and then
Yeah.
like 10 years from now, we're like, tomorrow night's episode, we're going to reveal Bruce.
Bruce's face.
People are like,
reveal.
oh my god, it's Bruce. And then it's like, but people also know who Bruce is, but they don't know him as Bruce, and they're like,
Yeah.
wait, that's Bruce. And then they feel ripped off.
So now,
They're like, oh wait, he's been there the whole time. It's like Superman's Clark Kent.
Yeah, right. What the fuck?
Yeah, all you do is take your sunglasses off, and they're like, what? Oh my god. It was, dude, you look so different.
It's like Perry the Platypus on Phineas and Ferb. You guys ever seen that show or heard of it?
No, that's where we
fuck.
end it.
It's like this little platypus that, like, once he puts his hat on, they're like, "Oh my god, it's Perry the Platypus." When he takes his off, he's like, "Oh, he's just a platypus." It's so fucking stupid.
Yo, and on that note,
Yeah.
we've now lost your subscription. Dude,
Things
that-
on TikTok, man. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we don't need to go down that.
Oh,
road.
we're not gonna go that route.
Yeah.
But
Yo,
one follow that, like, do you guys follow Joey B Tunes?
Joey B. Tunes.
Dude, you gotta follow him. He's like on Instagram, but just basically like just rips on TikTok people. Like he's hilarious. He's got his own like little podcast show. He just records himself. But if you're looking for a good follow, it's hilarious.
All right. Joey B.
Shout out Keystone Bass Solutions,
Yeah,
Keystone Carpenter. Brendan, thanks for coming again. I'm sure you'll come back again.
Well,
And-
I'd love to be back. I appreciate you guys
Yeah.
having me.
Man, you gotta have
and
that.
I wish you luck with this new venture.
Thank you.
I mean, like anything, it's probably just going to be a bunch of work.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be work.
But thanks for coming. I hope everybody enjoyed it. Subscribe and like. Thanks, Gilmar.